Have you ever watched a live stream where something felt wrong, not staged, not acted, but real? Because tonight, I'm going to tell you about the last broadcast of a small-town radio host. A broadcast that ended in screams, static, and silence. And here's the terrifying part. No one knows where the host went, or who, or what was on the other end of that signal. Stay with me, because once you hear this story, you'll never listen to static the same way again. The year was 1998. A local station in the Midwest, call letters KBRX, was run by a man named Daniel Carter. He wasn't famous, he wasn't rich. But in his little town, his late-night talk show was everything. Every night, Daniel sat alone in a dimly lit booth, a cigarette burning low in the ashtray, his voice floating through the static into homes across the county. People tuned in not for music, but for the way he told stories, urban legends, unsolved mysteries, local hauntings, until one night. Daniel told a story that wasn't a story at all. It was a warning. The tape of that night still exists. You can hear it if you know where to look. The broadcast begins normally. Daniel greets his listeners, cracks a joke about the weather, plays a song or two. But halfway through, his voice drops. He says, "I've been getting calls, strange ones. No name, no number, just a voice on the other end. And last night, it said something I can't forget." He pauses. You can hear the air crackle. Then he says, "It told me, don't look out the window." They're already inside. The phone lines lit up. Listeners laughed, thinking it was just another one of Daniel's spooky stories. But the truth? Daniel wasn't joking. As the show went on, he grew nervous. You can hear it in his voice, words cutting shorter, breaths coming heavier. He says the studio lights keep flickering, that someone, or something, is moving in the hallway outside the booth. At one point, you hear him mutter off mic, "Who's there?" But no one answers. The callers keep phoning in. One woman says she's outside the station and all the windows are black. Another man swears he hears whispering through the radio itself, like voices beneath Daniel's words. And then, bang! The sound of glass shattering cuts through the broadcast. Daniel gasps. The microphone crashes, and for a full 30 seconds, all you hear is this low, grinding static, like something breathing right into the mic. When Daniel's voice finally returns, it's shaky, panicked. He whispers, "They're here." And then, silence. The show never finished. Listeners called the police, but by the time they arrived, the station was empty. The booth, destroyed. The record still spinning. But no Daniel. No footprints in the snow outside. Just the sound of static hissing through the airwaves. For weeks, people searched. Flyers went up. The town held vigils. But Daniel Carter had vanished, and KBRX went off the air forever. Here's where it gets darker. Years later, people claim they still hear Daniel's final show, replaying on late-night frequencies. Truck drivers crossing state lines, night shift workers in empty warehouses. They tune their dials, and suddenly, there's Daniel, whispering warnings, sometimes even calling their names. No one has ever explained how. So here's the question. Did Daniel Carter predict something that night? Did he broadcast his own disappearance? Or is he still out there, trapped somewhere between signal and static, trying to warn us all? Next time your radio catches a strange frequency, before you laugh it off, remember this story. Because the last thing Daniel Carter ever said on air was, "Don't look out the window." They're already inside. And then, the line went dead. But here's the thing. That wasn't the only broadcast that ended in screams. There's another case, just as chilling, where an entire TV crew disappeared live on air, and their footage was sealed by the government. That's in my next video. Click now, if you dare.